That was terrible.
That was crap. That was garbage. This place sucks.
Overreaction Monday.
Christopher, what do you have?
All right, the year of Rich rolls on. The Jets won the draft, and they're going to make the playoffs this year.
I'm not going there. That's a total overreaction.
What do you mean? Did you see their odds change big time?
Why would they change the odds? Why would they change your odds? Why would they change your
odds? You
odds?
got 3 starters in the first round.
You got 4 starters, I think, you want to throw in Breece Hall? They could have
double backfield action. I see it.
I'm very excited about they got the draft. I mean, if getting players who are highly regarded and getting them multiple ways, and you don't have to use capital in next year's draft to go get them, that's the way you will, quote unquote, win a draft. And so I would agree the Jets won the draft in that regard, but making the playoffs, that is a huge, tall order, sir. Certainly with the AFC West looking the way that they look, and the AFC North going to now be much better than last year, and the Dolphins looking the way they look. 7, I mean, for the first time in a while, well, I guess there's only been 7 teams make the playoffs for 2 years. You're going to look at like a 7 seed that can actually win a playoff game, like big time. Like whoever doesn't get that bye and sits there at the 2 seed, you're going to be in trouble in the AFC. It's not going to be one of those 9-8 limp-in teams at the 7th spot. You're not going to see that.
Rich, we didn't sit here and listen to you pound the table for Sauce Gardner for months.
For you to be like,
we didn't sit here and listen to you say how much you love the Jets draft.
No.
For you to now go in there, have I taught you nothing? No. He asked you if the Jets going to make the playoffs. Ask me that question, Chris.
Hey,
if I'm a Jets fan.
Hey, TJ, you're a Jets fan, a long-time Jets fan.
Yeah.
Are Jets going to make the playoffs in 2022?
You better believe it. We got the sauce. See, that's what people want to do. They don't want you to hem and haw and say no, Rich.
Nope.
Say it with your chest.
Nope.
They're going to make it.
9-7-1. Pats 10-7. Raiders 10-7. Bengals 10-7.
You damn
all
right.
could miss the playoffs this year. Why can't the Jets
Bengals
sneak in there? Dolphins, Chargers,
Chris, Bengals aren't
Ravens.
missing the playoffs.
I just gave you 4 teams that could take their spot.
Bengals aren't missing the playoffs. Come on.
They're more likely than not to miss the playoffs, Rich. Losers of the Super Bowl in the following year.
Except this time around.
Very good point.
Overreaction. What else?
Boo.
All right, fair. Guys, there were 262 picks. I think there were 262 wide receivers selected over the weekend. The league is overvaluing wide receivers right now.
No, I think what the league is doing is it's fascinating that we've got Howie Roseman coming up. He's the one who takes A.J. Brown because he's like, I'll take the kid who's already proven in 3 years what he can do when healthy.
Caveat.
I'll take him. I'll draft him in the first round entering year 4 by coughing up a first round pick to go get him, and I'll pay him $100 million. And the Titans on the other side are saying, yep, nope, we're going to draft somebody out of Arkansas in Treylon Burks. And as soon as Treylon Burks gets drafted and they put up his what we call baseball card, that's what we call it in the NFL Network truck and production staff, and on it has certain bullet point attributes, and the one was from Daniel Jeremiah, his comp. His comp was A.J. Brown. They drafted his comparison. And they'd rather do that than have the actual A.J. Brown paid at a certain level that the Eagles are fine paying him.
I didn't hate that
they're
move
not,
by
they're not
Titans,
overvalued. What they are is more pro-ready coming out of college. And then we'll see if they're valued or overvalued or what their value is going into their second contract. We're seeing Eagles say yes for A.J. Brown. Titans say no for A.J. Brown at the price. And we'll see how Deebo plays out. And one thing that Pete Carroll said when he came on the NFL Network on Saturday is he mentioned DK Metcalf for the quarterback that plays there. He's not going anywhere. And we'll see what happens with him if he doesn't get paid and he goes into his 4th year without getting that extra contract. We'll see how that's handled in Seattle. What's next?
You mentioned him, Rich. Kind of feels like right now, May 2nd, Deebo's going to be on the 49ers week 1.
That's 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. Because why would you trade him for draft choices now that you're unfamiliar where they're going to land? 3 days ago, they were fully familiar where the draft choices were going to be, and they could have cashed them in on the spot, and they didn't do it. And I heard that the Jets were way in on that, and I heard that the 10th overall selection was offered to San Francisco for it, and San Francisco said no. You heard Kyle Shanahan say that nothing came close.
Right.
Like, well, what? I would think the 10th overall selection and maybe other draft picks would have come close, but they decided not to trade him, and I'm not surprised by it. And Deebo is going to be on the Niners week 1. We'll see if he's active week 1. We'll see how he handles that. He's going nowhere now.
I did not appreciate Odell Beckham kind of toying with my emotions.
Saying that he's going to the Patriots?
Oh, my gosh.
On Twitter?
Yeah. Quickly shot down.
Well, you want to ask Ian that in hour 3? We could do that. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Rich, you talked about Baker a second ago. Just kind of follow up my overreaction was it seems like he's going to be waiting a while for a new team.
No question. No doubt. No doubt. Because in the same way that we saw today, the Saints go out and get Tyrann Mathieu. They went through the draft and didn't get a safety. So that's a need. You fill it. Anybody who went through the draft that needed a quarterback and didn't fill that need, why aren't they going to get Baker Mayfield today? It's because I don't know what team there is that fits that mold. You could say Seattle, but Seattle might not term quarterback a need right now, as Pete Carroll wants to see a competition between Drew Lock and Geno Smith. And if he sees in the OTAs something that disturbs him, or he sees stuff in other workouts that concerns him, and he sees stuff in training camp that concerns him, maybe that's when they go and hit the Baker Mayfield button. If the Browns eat enough salary, because you're not going to take somebody on that's $18 million and have to find the cap room for him to potentially lose a quarterback battle. So yeah, he's going to be waiting a while. It's crazy. What else you got?
All right, last one, NFL here. Eagles made the big move for the weekend, trading for A.J. Brown. It's a make-or-break year for Jalen Hurts in 2022.
I kind of have to agree with that. But again, we're having the general manager of the Eagles come on in a bit because they have draft capital next year enough to go get the replacement. You got A.J. Brown. You got that running game.
Devontae Smith.
You got him in last year's draft.
Dallas Goedert.
You've got enough weaponry right here. And defensively, you play well enough, they could win the division. And they did get a nice wet their beak a little bit in the playoffs last year. So they made the playoffs last year. I know they had the doors blown off in Tampa, but that's going to count for something. And you saw Jalen Hurts FaceTime A.J. Brown, and they were just laughing like school kids because I think they know each other very well, and I think they're going to play well together. Can't wait to see what the Eagles look like. But I agree with you, Chris. I think that's not an overreaction either. A lot of agreement between us today.
Hey, lockstep. Like you never left.
That's your Overreaction Monday coming off of the NFL Draft in Las Vegas. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.